And we are off. Welcome to game one of the round robin for the Champions Cup. This is action between East Coast Express and the ND Mammoth. Express and Mammoth coming off of a tournament last weekend in PEI, the Oyster Cup. Didn't get the opportunity to play against each other. They were in different pools, but based on standings and the way games have been going, it should be a pretty solid matchup for both. So here we go. Express with control of the puck in the neutral zone, getting the puck in deep into the corner. Actually, that's going to go on net and be directed in the corner by the Mammoth goalie. Mammoth fans, if you're watching, I apologize. I don't have your roster. If I figure somebody out, then I'll definitely try to use their name. But in the meantime, they're just going to be called Mammoth. Fredericton coming up the wing, going to cut through the middle. Gets the puck across the blue line, loses at the blue line, but jacks his foot over there to get it. Tries to give it to Brady Neal, kind of gets by him. Mammoth pick it up in the neutral zone. Ian Moffat back to help. Ian plays his player to the boards. Puck gets tipped on net. A little tricky for Cam Delaney to handle, but he managed to get a piece of it. We'll hold that off. That was a weird bounce. Puck just kind of got thrown to the front of the net and off a body and onto Cam. Had to make a tricky save there. Cam and Grayson, our two goalies, this season have been fantastic in all of their appearances so far. Hopefully we can keep that rolling. They've been very steady in net, giving us a chance to win every night. And with a save like that, looks like it's going to be no different. This tournament has a very weird structure. So we've got two 22-minute periods. Each period, the winner gets a point in the standings. So whether you win the game or not, you can still come out of the game with points just by coming up big in one period, winning a period, and getting points that way. Obviously, the goal to win both periods and win the game to get maximum points. But this 1 point per period rule has been seen many times before and can cause some havoc in the standings. So we're just going to have to work hard and try to come out on top every period, make sure we get the maximum points every time, and 2 periods with a flood in between. So we will have a bit of a break in between periods, but that'll let the guys refresh after a long period, and then hopefully we'll get an opportunity to come out fresh and win the second period. Noah Parker taking down along the wall, no call. Does manage to get the puck across the line. Okay, jumps over to the mid wall. Battling there is Caden Christian. He gets it back down low. Noah Parker into forecheck. Puck comes up the wall to the Mammoth player. Mammoth exits the zone. Great pass in the middle. Great zone entry on the other side. We need to pressure that. We do. Puck gets tipped off the defenseman. Goes on to Cam Delaney. That's going to be counted as a save. Not really much of a shot on net, but you had to be ready for that and keep it out. Caden Christian makes a pass to Noah Parker. Just behind him. Not quite in the zone. That will go deep. Waving. Icing will be waved off. Mammoth will pick it up. And they're going to look to re-attack. Nice pass up the wall. Gets picked off in the middle. Margaret Meager joining the team this weekend due to an injury with Ty Moran, unfortunately. But she'll jump into his spot here, centering this line with Ian Moffat and Jackson Flood. Moffat in on the forecheck, forces the puck to be pushed to the board. Max Stark back to retrieve it. Max Stark goes D on the net. Better Hayes gets that up the wall. I actually said his name right for the first time in the first game all season, so hopefully we'll be able to keep that one going here. Puck comes up the wall, the Mammoth gets it back into the zone. Max starts going back to retrieve it. Has 2 people on the forecheck, has to be smart here. Moves it around behind the net to Brady Neal. Neal up the wall to Hannon. Gets off the Hannon stick, goes out though. So we're going to force the play in the neutral zone. Cal Lockery beat it up in the Oyster Cup. It's a great game, 2 great games on his birthday. Scoring a nice shootout winner, as well as a couple goals in the games. Hopefully he'll keep that momentum going into this season, or this tournament, because when he's on fire, he is really hard to contain. Back behind the net, we have Max Clark. Puts it up the wall to Ashton Hannon. Hannon picks it up on the wall. He'll go back underneath. Find Neal. Neal goes up the wall to Liam Werner. That puck gets turned over at the blue line, dumped in on net. A lot of pucks going in the net, not from really dangerous areas, but you never know what might happen when a puck goes on net, especially if it's down safe. As we've seen in the NHL just recently, even from the center ice line, you can have a puck jump in, not expecting it when you get it to the net. Nice move through the neutral zone to enter the zone on the other side. Reese Vincent one-on-one. That shot scores. First goal of the game goes to the Mammoth. Nice move ending the zone there by Mammoth number 6. It was one-on-one on Vincent. Manages to drive wide. Shoots from a sharp angle. Honestly, you don't usually expect those ones to go in, but manages to trick the goaltender. Goes a really nice shot off the bar and in. So here we are, 1-0 Mammoth. So far in this first period. Obviously, periods are real long. Lots of hockey left to be played. 7 minutes, 52 seconds remaining in the first. Reed Fryer up for Caden Christian. Caden Christian loses at the blue line. Good support there from Parker, keeps it in. Christian to the net, Christian to Parker. Parker shot, nice save. First shot on goal by Express. Saver, shot, in, scores. We tie that one up quickly. Managed to break the deficit early, really fast, off the opening face-off, driving into the zone. Good drop pass there by Christian to Parker. Sets it up, shot, rebound. Faber with the goal. They may give that one to Parker, who goes in there, tries to tap it on the line, make sure it goes in, but it certainly crossed the line before Noah had a chance to get a stick on it. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a great shot by Tabor. Sneaks through the goalie. Tabor from Parker and Christian to start this one off. 1-1 hockey game. 17:35 left in the period. 25 seconds between the two goals. Nice play down the wall here by Tabor. Shot just goes off the net and wide. Christian in a forecheck, gets that back in behind the net. Nobody there. Eddie will pick that up behind the net, try to make a move out. Pass by Parker up the wing. They like to hit that pass. That's why the red line looks good. Great zone exits here so far by the Mammoth. That gets turned back around. Express defenseman should pick that up, and we're up and gone. And puck goes deep. Picked up again by the Mammoth. Going to move that up the wall. Flood, good back check, picks up the wall, picks up the puck and knocks down his man. In a battle now on the blue line. Gets forced deep, goes to Clark. Clark will put that behind the net for Hayes. Hayes behind the net. We'll get that up the wing for Moffett. Doesn't quite get through. Bumped up again for Hayes. Gets that to Moffett, gets that to Meager. Moffett on the forecheck, gets tripped up. No call. That's all right. Referee's letting them play. Moffett gets that out of the zone. Going to come back to the neutral zone. Let's pass up to the blue line. Passing in the other side. Hayes behind the net. Picks up for Meager. Margaret in the battle. Comes out on top. Moves that up for Flood. Goes off a skate. Can't get a hold of it, but it gets out of the zone. No icing called. Not sure why, but that's all right. The Mammoth managed to beat it anyway. Move the puck up the wall again. They love that long pass out of the zone. It seems to be working for them so far. Coaches need to pick up on that. Cut that one down. Could turn into some danger. Brady over to Reese. To Hannon. Back to Brady. Brady back for Hannon. Just goes underneath his skates. Enters the zone 2-on-1 here. Good job using the net to give himself some room. Comes back up the wall. Brady keeps it in. Goes to Hannon. Hannon drives in. Puts inside. Puts it to the middle. Middle for Werner. Werner tries to get a shot. Can't quite get a stick on it enough to put it on net. Down in the corner, we've got Kyle Lockery. Falls. Gets it to Werner. Werner leaves it there. Mammoth defender gets it around the boards. Then Reese Vincent in the battle on the blue line, holding the puck in. Does a good job of it. But again, we get that puck. Keeps going to that weak side or that right side winger. And we're getting the puck out pretty easily as far as the Mammoth is concerned. We need to play that pass a little tougher. Great pass to the center, stopped up by Hannon and Vincent, who are there. We're going to throw that puck down the ice. Icing waved off again. These referees are waving off icing if they don't see these players busting their butt to try to get to the puck, and I like that. Make sure that they're playing it honest, and puck goes in the middle of the neutral zone. We will have our first offside of the game as Caden Christian battles the Mammoth player trying to enter the zone. Can't quite keep control of the puck. Enters the blue line, or crosses the blue line without it, and we have a face-off without it. Caden Christian on the draw. Express comes up with it, but it doesn't quite stay on the stick of our player. I couldn't tell who that was. We've got Christian reverses the puck behind the net for Fryer. Fryer's taking a look to see what his options are. Moves that up the wall for Christian, just out of reach. Again, no icing. We're going to call that tipped. It was tipped on the wrong side of the red line, but they're letting this go. They do not want to blow the whistle if they don't have to, and I don't have a problem with that at all. Noah Parker into forecheck. Puck comes out. Goes to Fryer. Fryer keeps it in for Christian. Back for Christian. He's supporting at the blue line. Gets that across for Jasper Nelson. Jasper tries to put it in, goes off the skate. Doesn't quite get deep, but just deep enough for the express to change. D to D from the Mammoth, now back up that right side again, almost to the offensive blue line, but misses up, connecting on the pass. Max Clark over for Moffett. Moffett centers it for Measer. Measer comes in, gets into a battle. Jasper Nelson down into the corner. Puts that up the wall, actually across ice for Flood. Flood's going to get underneath it. Manages to gain the blue line, puts it in deep on net, and he will attack the corner. Flood comes back up that right side wall, comes out of the zone. Moffett there to lift the stick and pick up the puck. He's going to put that over and loses it at the red line. Puck jumped in. Max Clark, Carter Hayes. That's Max Clark. Up for Flood. Flood's going to go cross ice for Moffett. Moffett tips that center under some pressure, puts it into the zone, and then they'll go for a change. Mammoth coming back up ice. Good play by Hannon there to get the puck off the wall. Gets knocked down at the neutral zone. Hayes tries to go for Clark. He's a little deeper than he thought, and Clark will get that in the corner. Puts it up for Werner. Werner under pressure here on the wall. Puck kept in by the Mammoth. Back in for Clark. Clark goes D to D to Hayes. Back to Clark. Looks for Werner. Gets it to Werner. Puck comes off the stick. Manages to get out of the zone. D to D. Mammoth looking for that pass. Again, they love going up that right side. Doesn't quite connect again. Goes to Hayes. Hayes is going to get that across for Lockery. Goes behind him. Lockery misses his man on the board. Goes into the center zone. Hayes up the wall. Hannon comes back down low. Looking for some space under some heavy pressure. Two guys. Manages to lose it behind the net. That goes over up to the defenseman on the Mammoth. Mammoth can take a shot. Blocked by Cal Lockery. Big job getting in the shooting lane. He stands tall there. Puck goes cross ice one time. Misses the net just barely. Again, up for Werner. Werner's just going to put that across ice. We're going to look for a change here. Careful, we are now going to be attacking with numbers. Too many guys off at the same time. Coming in through the neutral zone with speed. Managed to get that turned away is Brady Neal. Brady Neal forces that puck back behind the net. Noah Parker now on the boards. Puck comes back for Caden Christian behind the net. Caden's just going to get that over to Brady. Brady gets it up the wall for Tabor. It doesn't connect, but it does come out of the zone. Seeing that a lot here. Mammoth gets to the red line, dumps it back in. Defense looking for a change. Brady Neal stops up behind the net. Puts that off the wall to Parker. Parker centers that for Christian. Christian picks it up. He's going to go back behind the net looking for space. He's going to drop that back for Parker. Parker now in the corner. Parker puts that around the boards for Tabor. Tabor picks it up. Just puts it out of the zone. Unfortunately, that causes a turnover, and the Mammoth re-attack on the other side. Good job by Max Stark to stand up his man, strip the puck. Puck comes out, not far enough. Christian gets it again in the neutral zone. Loses the puck at the blue line again. We're getting a lot of blue line turnovers here, and that results in either a goal or a penalty, and a penalty is what we get. Hayden Christian going to the box for hooking. First penalty of the game goes to the Express. 2 minutes, hooking. Penalty killers here. We've got Moffett, Hannon, Neal, Vincent. Hannon on the draw. Puck goes over, gets drummed. Good job by Moffett and Hannon to keep that from being dangerous. Moffett out to contest the shot. Shot goes on net. Can't quite freeze it is Cam Delaney. That's going to go on the stick of Vincent, who's just going to get out of the zone. Doesn't quite go as far as we would like, but gets us out of some trouble here. Moffett in to play the man on the corner. Good pressure up high, 3-on-1, passes around, good stick by Hannon in support. Hannon's just going to put that down the ice. We're going to get a line change here for a penalty killer, all four. But come down to the goalie. Goalie will just leave that for the defenseman. Defenseman's looking up ice, loses the puck in front of the net. Good forecheck by Lockery. Lockery managed to cause some disruption here. Forces that up the wall. 1-on-3. Parker's going to play him. Nelson as well. Tries to drop that back, but Parker's there. Puts that out. Just thinks it across the neutral zone. But Cal Lockery picks that off. In for a shot. Nice move around the goalie and scores. Short-handed goal by the Express. Goal scorer is Cal Lockery. Great move after picking up that puck in the offensive end. Managed to drive by his defender and outweights the goalie. He's down early. A little bit of panic situation where he was out of the net, I feel, and that results in a 2-1 lead for Express. Short-handed goal in the first period. 9 minutes and 7 seconds left. Still 58 seconds left on Caden Christian's penalty. Now Walker on the draw. Summed up. Parker now playing the wall. That just gets dumped in by the Mammoth. Back to retrieve it is Friars. Friars goes for the stick check. It works. Picks off the puck. Uses the net to his advantage. Tries to kill some time here. He's taking a look. Tries to go off the wall for Parker. Gets to him. Parker's just going to fire that down in the net. Kill some more time off the clock. Still 36 seconds left on the power play with the Mammoth. They're going to turn that back up into the zone. Flood there to pressure. Coming back. Meager and Nelson. Nelson, good stick. Turns it over for Meager. Meager's just going to put that into the bench. Gives us a face-off in our end with 20 seconds left in the power play. Defensive zone draw. Mammoth looking to tie this one up after a short-handed goal by the Express. We'll see what happens. 20 seconds left on number 22's penalty. 9 minutes, 19 seconds left in the period. Again, long, very long periods here, but there's only 2 of them. But in between, should be some fast hockey. Puck comes off the wall to the Mammoth. Mammoth pick it up. Express wins the draw, but they don't get it out. Shot on net goes this high over the glove of Cam Delaney. It's going to get out to the center ice for Ashton Hannon. Hannon's just going to tip that in. Ashton and Lockery looking to change. Going to get a line out here, part of a line out here. Flood and Meager. Penalty expires. Moffat joins them on the ice. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. Max Spark in a battle here in the defensive end. Manages to put that up the ice. The forecheck in the neutral zone is the Mammoth. They'll just fire that hard into the zone. Go for a quick change. Max Spark up the wall. Tries to get up the wall for Flood. Doesn't make it. Meager in to help. Battles in the corner. Comes out to the middle. Goes up ice. Moffat picks it up. Gets knocked down. No shot on net. That's going to be a penalty to the Mammoth. Body contact. Drawing the penalty is Moffat. Well, he's extended for the puck. I didn't think he noticed that the player was coming in hard like that. But we will go to the man advantage in a 2-1 lead. Coming on the ice. Here is the Christian line. Christian, Faber, with Parker actually. Quick line change going on here. We'll see what happens. Probably because Hannon just finished killing the penalty. A little bit tired. Changing things up a little for the power play. Christian loses the draw. Puck goes into the corner. Good forecheck pressure by Tabor. Comes up the wall for Clark. Clark looks back down low for Christian. Christian looking in the middle of the zone. Puck gets knocked off his stick. Parker goes into forecheck. It's a little too far. Puck just stumps down the ice. We're going to have Cam Delaney come out to play that. He leaves that for Carter Hayes. Carter Hayes now looking for his options. Not a whole lot of pressure here by the Mammoth. Left him to sit back and play up the numbers coming in. That goes up the wall for Tabor. Tabor coming in wide. Tabor looking for Parker in the middle. Can't get the passing lane. So we're going to move that up the wall for Christian. Christian now looking up for the half wall. Moves that back to the defenseman Hayes. Hayes back to Christian. Christian comes off the wall, loses the puck into the corner, but Tabor's there to pick it up. Tabor now behind the net. Tries to put that out front. It's loose. Goalie can't find it. No shot. Again, Tabor jamming. Can't get it in the net. Christian picks it up, looks back to Friars on defense. Friars gets that to the middle for Nelson. Nelson goes back to Friars. Friars looks to go cross ice for Parker. Can't get through the skate of one of the Mammoth players. That's going to get dumped down the ice. A couple dangerous chances there as that puck bobbled out from behind the net. The Mammoth goalie didn't quite see it. No opportunity to capitalize on Express here. Friars gains the zone, drops that back for Lockery, gets knocked off his stick to the neutral zone. Jasper Nelson's there to pick it up. Jasper over to Hannon. Hannon now driving through the middle of the zone. Going to enter the zone on the left wing side. Drops that back for Berner. Berner back to Hannon. Hannon looking to cross ice. Good stick by the goalie to keep that from getting connected. Brady Neal there to keep it at the blue line. Goes to Lockery on the half wall. Lockery drops it back for Werner. Werner back into the net. Tries to go cross crease. Gets deflected by a stick. Almost went into the net. Good job by the defenseman not to allow that to happen. Gets put back up the wall for Vincent. Vincent on the blue line. Gets back down the corner for Lockery. Still 3 seconds left on this power play if we can make something happen. Banked off the back wall. Can't quite get to it with his hand, and that's going to be picked up on the wall. 5-on-5 hockey as the penalty expires. Player comes out of the box, gets the puck in the neutral zone, but we're back to pick it up. Good stick by Lockery to move that up for Hannon. Hannon going across ice. for Lockery. Lockery in the zone pressuring now. Already has one on the day in that exact situation. We were short-handed, but still a 1-on-2 where he managed to force the turnover. Puck comes up the wall. Lockery and Moffat battling for it here. Lockery trying to change. Lockery gets off the ice for Meager. Going to the zone is one of the Mammoth players. Gets knocked down behind the net. No call. Puck goes back behind the net for Neal. Neal goes up the wall for Moffat. Moffat gets there. Can't get it out. Meager cycles in the corner for Neal. Neal up for Moffat. Moffat bank pass off the wall for Flood. Flood now 1-on-1 with the back checker. He's just going to gain the zone, get that puck deep. Margaret Meager in now to forecheck with him. Moffat hanging high. He will go to that right side board, picks up the puck. The message must have been delivered. Comes down for Moffat. Doesn't quite get to him at the blue line. Good job by Flood to keep that puck out. Shot comes in off the stick high. Delaney's going to elect to freeze that, allow us to finish our line change, and get new bodies on the ice. 5 minutes, 13 seconds left in this first period. This is a much longer period than what these kids are used to. This is not usual, but the format is very different in this one. On the draw, Stephen Christian. Puck drop, won by Christian into the corner, picked up by Clark. Under some pressure, puck gets reversed back to the corner, comes up the wall for Parker. Parker now looks for Christian, doesn't connect, goes back in. Hayes picks it up inside, puts it up the wall for Parker. Parker on the battle, can't get it out. Christian cross-checks a little bit, no harm, no foul there. Puck comes back to Clark, who's going to fire it down the ice. This one is going to go for icing, and that's the first icing in the game. Probably lots of opportunities to call that. That was a little too blatant, fired past everybody. Obviously needs to be blown down. I like that they're not calling too many icings when there's no advantage in the play. In this case, there's a clear advantage, firing out or under pressure, and the icing is called. Christian again on the draw. Puck drop, one to the wall for Friars. Friars keeps his guy, goes to Christian. Christian's looking for Tabor, can't connect. Puck comes back to the defenseman. Defenseman up the wall on that right side again. Nobody seems to be there again. Nelson in the corner to battle. Nelson gets it up the wall for Tabor. Tabor can't get it out. Nelson again in the corner, gets up for Tabor. Tabor driving in his zone, tries to go across ice for Parker. Goes off a stick, back in. A very aggressive move by Delaney. Wasn't really covering around the net, but put some pressure on the shooter. Shooter managed to shoot it over the net. Good job by Delaney to force that situation in that quick down low 1-on-0 situation there. Mammoth player loses her stick. Pass to the middle of the ice. Can't connect to Parker. Does get back for Friars. Friars goes up for Christian. Christian now gaining his zone with Parker in the middle. Moves it across. Tipped by Noah. Doesn't go in the net. Great save by the Mammoth goalie there. Comes back up the ice to Friars. Friars is going to put that off the body. Goes on net. Rebound. Gets covered up. Offensive zone draw with the Lockery line coming on now. 3 minutes and 39 seconds left in this first period. It's been a pretty good game, back and forth action. I'd say Express has had more shots as of now. That didn't look like it was going to be that way at the start of the period, but they've managed to pick it up. Lockery on the draw here. Mammoth player gets tossed out. Thumbed on the draw. Still at the center dot, gets picked up by the Mammoth, can't put it anywhere, comes back out for Neal. Neal's just going to go to his backhand and keep that in. Good chance there if he could get to that puck on his forehand for him to put that on net, but unfortunately on the wrong side of his body, can't quite make the adjustment. Managed to keep it in though. Gets beat on the blue line. Cal Lockery back to back check. Great back check by Lockery to keep that from going into harm's way. Hannon now with the puck, coming through the middle of the ice. Hannon, our leading scorer on this team right now. He's had some great games, including a 4-goal game in the Jets tournament. Puck gets shoved into the zone, down low. Hannon up the wall for Neal. Neal puts it off of body, goes to the other side. Good place for it to be. Lockery down low. It's there for Flood. Flood on net. Save. Express will complete the line change, and Meager's line will come on with Moffat and Flood. Offensive zone draw with 2 minutes 49 seconds left in this first period. Again, after this period expires, we will have a Flood, and then we will return to action for another 22-minute period. Meager on the draw now. Puck comes out to Moffat. Moffat just tries to give that to Carter Hayes, but Hayes wasn't expecting it. Puck comes down the ice. Good back check by Hayes. Picked up by Moffat. Moffat's going to go cross ice for Flood. Flood gains the zone. Under some pressure here. Meager into assist. Meager. Puck gets past Fire. Moffat again taking away that right side pass that they like to use so much. Gets turned over. Moffat again entering the zone here. Tries to put it across. Gets tipped off a stick. Goes to Meager. Meager now back checking. Back for Hayes. Hayes puts it up the wall to Moffat. Bobbling puck. Manages to keep a hold of it. Goes off a stick and high. Meager gets a piece of it. Goes off of a body again. Over for Parker. Parker puts that up the ice. He's going to complete the line change. Doesn't quite go for icing, which is great for us. We can get our bodies on the ice. Mammoth now attacking without numbers. Max Stark in the corner. Picks that up. He's going to go behind the net for Hayes. Hayes goes up the wall for Tabor. Mammoth on a line change. Nobody there to pressure, but still managed to get picked off by the defenseman coming into the zone. Goes back in. Puck just gets fired out of the express zone. Goes to the Mammoth. Mammoth are going to go D-to-D. Mammoth looks to put the puck into the zone. Puts the guy on the blue line. Under pressure into the zone by Max Stark. Max Stark can't quite stop the centering pass, but good body support there to stop it. Shot on net, handled by Delaney. Puck comes over to Parker, who tries to find Christian, just doesn't quite connect. Great play by Parker off the wall. Just doesn't quite get to the stick of Christian. Puck comes back in. Christian now to push it through the blue line and out. D-to-D pass. Regrouping here is the Mammoth. Mammoth goes up that right side wall that they like so much. Puck into the zone. Good stick by Clark to take that away. Goes to Christian. Christian trying to muscle his way out of the zone. Does. Gets it to Tabor. Tabor finds Parker now 1-on-0. Let's see if Mark. And shot save. Nobody driving the net for the rebound. Great save by the Mammoth goalie there. Can't keep the puck. They can't get the puck in the net. Is Parker. Great move to go to his backhand. Can't fool him. Stretch pass coming out. Nobody crashing the net for that rebound. It was a beautiful rebound sitting in front of the cage. Puck in the corner. Goes up the ice. Picked up by Hannon. Hannon moves out to Werner. Werner's going to enter the zone. Looks for the drop pass to Hannon. Does. Hannon drives in the middle of the ice. Shot. Just off the stick of Jasper Nelson, who's driving in as part of the rush. Barely stays out. I don't think the goalie got a piece of that, but he's in the right position to make that a difficult tip-in. Puck comes to the wall. Lockery in the corner. Ashton battling. Comes up with the puck. Tries to put it to the center for Werner. Can't get it across. Puck gets dumped out of the zone. Touching it is Jasper Nelson. That would have been for icing, but that's the end of the period anyway. Now, the Express coming out of the first of two periods, half we might call it, 2-1 over the Mammoth. We are going to have a quick break, probably about 12 minutes here, while the ice is done, we finish, and then we will be back for more second period action. And we are back in action. Let's take the ice. Now lottery line here on the draw, along with Friars and Nelson on the blue line. Puck drop, goes back to Mammoth. Gets knocked back out to Lockery. Lockery can't handle it. Gets picked back off. Goes back up the ice. Lockery to Hannon. Doesn't quite connect. Fresh ice here. There's a couple spots that are a little sticky. That tends to happen. Puck gets off the stick and out of the zone. Goes on to the express line. We're going to have a draw here. The offensive or defensive blue line. Express rock. 2-1 after 1. 22 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in this 22-minute and 30-second period. Very long periods here. These kids are definitely not used to it. Splits the game in half instead of thirds. Puck comes over to Friars. Friars goes up the wall. Very important periods every time here. These periods worth a point. Game basically resets here. We're now battling for a new point in this game. Game comes up. Puck comes up the wall. It's the player on the neutral zone. Can't quite keep it out. Noticing that we are not switching ends here. We are playing the same direction all game long, which is also unusual. Wonder if that'll change the strategy of going up the right side at all for the Mammoth here, if we'll continue to do that. Puck gets on the blue line, can't get past, and Mammoth offside. It's one of those situations where Express almost wishes that the offside's not called. Noah Parker has that puck in his face, center of the ice with no pressure. Unfortunately, the whistle's blown, and he'll have a draw instead. Jaden Christian on the draw. Neil and Vincent on the blue line. Puck drop. Christian wins it to the wall. Favor gets the puck, puts it up the ice, picked off by the defenseman. Loses it. There's one of those sticky spots we were just talking about after that press resurfaced. But Noah Parker loses it in the same spot, and now the Mammoth attack off out of the defensive zone. Gets left for Vincent. He doesn't see it behind him. No harm, no foul, though, as we get a good back check from Parker, who then has the puck rimmed around to him by Neal. Can't quite get to it. Puck at the Mammoth blue line. Parker pressuring. Goes in, takes a shot. Tries to go for a tip. Doesn't quite connect. Puck comes out of the zone on the other side. Favor, forcing. C-to-D pass. Back up to the middle. Entering the zone is the Mammoth. Mammoth, back to the middle again. Looking for a pass. Gets picked off by Flood. Gets knocked into the zone. Comes back up to Tabor. Tabor's just going to put that out so he can finish the change. Moffat coming on to Tabor. Flood pressuring. Can't quite stop the puck. Comes in one-on-one on Neal. Neal forces the puck behind the net. Tries to go back out front. Gets stopped. Back to Neal. Neal going behind the net. Comes around for Moffat. Moffat looking to get there. Picks it up. Gets jammed against the boards. Puck comes back into the corner. Meager down in the support. Puck comes back around the wall. Flood on the wall. Makes a nice move off the wall to get the puck into the zone. Moffat going to the net. Tries to put the shot on net. Doesn't see Moffat coming on the other side. Stick lift by the Mammoth. Turns that puck up the wall. Goes to Clark. Clark goes cross ice to Hayes. Hayes stands on that and manages to get back into it. Gets it to Clark again. Clark now going for a rush here. Clark enters the blue line. Puts the puck on net. Loose puck. Can't quite get to it as the Aston Hanning. He's driving the through. But good job to freeze the puck by the Mammoth goalie. Lockery line now on to take this offensive zone draw. 19 minutes, 56 seconds left in the period. Puck drop, won by Lockery. Back to Clark. Clark goes to shoot, hits the body. Puts that back down the wall. Into the corner goes Lockery. Verna out front. Hannon behind the net. Puck gets by him. Come up the wall. Turned back by Lockery. Back out for Hayes. Hayes is going to dump that into the zone. Goes on net. Goaltender will just keep that in play. Fourth check is Aston Hannon. Comes up the wall to Verner. Verner battling. Kyle Locker there to support. Puck kept down low. Verner down below the goal line. Looks out for Lockery. Lockery gets it on his stick. Moves it to Hannon. Hannon shot. Hits the body up high. That one did not feel good. Great block shot by the Mammoth player. Keeps the puck out of the net. Lost the shoot out there. Puck comes back up the other way, and we're offside. That was a dangerous rush. Fortunate by the Express to not have that come in the way that Mammoth player was skating up the ice. Fires and Nelson on for the draw. A little bit of a conversation here between the referee and Jason Nelson, Express head coach. Lockery. some draw. Manages to get it, is Ashton Hannon. Loses it though. Puck comes back into the zone. Hannon picks it up at the blue line. Gets it over to Lockery. Lockery up for Werner. Werner dumps it into the zone. Goes down for the goalie. He'll just keep that in play. Run a little bit of interference on the forechecker of Werner. Mammoth attacking up through the neutral zone. Enters the zone. 1-on-3. Turn back. Pass to the blue line. Shot. Saved by Delaney. Puck still loose in front. Look at scramble. Doesn't go in the net. Good job passing the net by the Express players to keep that one. And we're going to just fire it down the ice. Get the icing call. It gets it out of harm's way with 18:37 left to play in this second period. Again, every period counts. We find a way to win this period as well. More goals than the other team, because we do not want to be giving up or leaving points on the table if we can help it. Fix it on the drop. Puck drop. Christian puts it to the wall for Nelson. Nelson ties up his man, but Mammoth man's get a hold of it. Shot from the middle of the ice. Hits Parker. Up the wall, back to Christian, or back to Friars rather. Friars now driving the zone. Has Christian with him. Has Parker behind him. Puts it in front for Christian. Can't get a hold of it. Goes into his skates. Friars now down low. We've got Emmett Haber covering at the blue line. Cycle back down for Friars. Friars behind the net for Christian. Christian's just going to pin his man on the wall. Goes to the other Mammoth player. Mammoth now gaining the center of the ice and the neutral zone. Mammoth will just gain the red line, dump that in. Parker on the wall. Pass intended for Moffat, gets picked off in the middle of the ice. Good job to keep that from a dangerous chance is Jasper Nelson as Christian drives in. Has Moffat going to the net, can't quite get it across, gets picked off in the middle. Flood on the wall. Puck goes up that right side to Neal. Neal just puts it back down in. Flood now attacking through. Shot goes through Neal's legs on net, but it's picked up by Meager. Meager now behind the net. Gets stopped up, knocked down, no call. Couple stick lifts. Back down low, shot, dangerous angle, weird angle. Goes off Delaney, weird, but he managed to find it in front of him and stop it before it becomes even more dangerous. Looking to bank that one in off of Delaney. He doesn't have his post completely sealed. Is the Mammoth on that one. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. That was a risky situation for Express Hockey. Moffat in here to take the draw as Meager's tossed out. Moffat comes the draw, goes to Neal. Back out front for Vincent. Vincent just throws it up the middle of the ice, hits Moffat. Moffat's going to grab that, move it ahead for Flood. Good stop block, waiting to clog the lanes by Moffat. It's going to get dropped in. Moffat goes for the change. Meager now on the back check, one-on-one against Vincent. Shot high and over the net. Hannon behind the net. Intended for Vincent, doesn't get to him. Vincent behind the net, switches sides with Neal. Vincent brings that up the wall for Flood. Flood can't get a hold of it. Goes up the ice. Mammoth in the neutral zone, makes the play around Hannon. Just drops that on net, on Delaney. Easily handled by Cam, who frees that, and will take the defensive zone draw. 16 minutes, 29 seconds left to play. Still more than a whole period of what these guys are used to. So a lot of hockey left in a one-goal game. Lockery. Wins the puck ahead. Tries to get to the wall. Gets picked off. Shot on net. Handled by Delaney. Lockery in the corner. Gets out behind the net. That's going to be thrown up the wall for Hannon. Hannon gets it off the wall, moves it over for Werner. Just misses his stick. Werner's going to gain the zone. Looking to go down the wall, tries to drop it back for Hannon, but picked off. Just knocked back into the corner. Over for Lockery. Lockery now to Clark. Clark, puck to the net. Goes off a Mammoth stick and almost beats the goalie. Just goes a little high. Werner and Lockery now in the corner, 2-on-2 for a puck battle. Mammoth jamming up the wall. Good pinch by Carter Hayes. Keep that in the corner. Werner's going to look for a change. Cannon takes it off behind the net. No one to pass to because one of his line mates is changing. Gets it back over to Clark. Clark back to Hannon. Down into the corner. Mammoth try to put it back up the wall. Clark's going to pinch in. Drive that back down to the corner for Hannon. Hannon tries to center. Stands on the puck. Picked up by the Mammoth. Mammoth now coming up the ice on that right wing side. Going to go one-on-one against Max Clark. Max Clark, good stick, disrupts the puck. But picked off by the Mammoth. Manages to put it in. Cutter Hayes now driving up the ice with some speed. We've got numbers, 3-on-2. Puts out wide for Parker. Just out of reach. Great shot. Oh, rebound. No one there to get it as Christian's busting in. Tries to get to the puck and can't. 2-on-2 coming up the ice. Turns into a 1-on-3. Mammoth player loses the puck at the blue line. Drops it back to the defense. Defense is going to put that in the corner. Allow them to finish the line change. Puck cycle back out. Picked off by Emmett Tabor. Tabor now 1-on-1. Tries to drive inside. Sticks down low. Puts the puck towards the net. Mammoth goalie is way out of position there. I'm surprised that he was all the way over there. If Tabor managed to put that on net, it probably would have went in even from that weird angle that he was shooting. Puck gets off the stick and over the net. Up the ice for Tabor. Tabor gains the red line. Dumps it in. They're going to call it no icing. I think it was, but that's okay. Flood into the corner with Meager. Comes up the wall. Fryer tries to keep it in. Can't quite do it. 1-on-1 to Nelson. 2-on-1. Good back check by Mammoth to pick up the trailer. Flood gets the puck on the weak side. Tries to put up the wall for Friars. He tries to join the rush. Goes off the wall and down the ice for icing. We're going to have a defensive zone draw here. Line change by the Express. 14 minutes to go in this period. We're now in third period territory for what these kids are used to. Of course, we played a lot of hockey already. Puck is stumped at the blue line. It's stumped behind the net. He's Vincent in to pick it up. Cycles it back for Brady Neal. Brady Neal on the wall. Tries to go up for Werner. Werner gets it. Gets stopped up at the blue line. Manages to find a way to get it out. I think this is a bobbled pass by the Mammoth. Ashton Hannon into pressure. Werner with a good stick at the center ice to pick that off. Comes back for Lockery. Gives that back to Neal. He tries to put it up the middle of the ice, but the only people that were there were the Mammoth, so it kind of gets picked off. No harm, no foul as the Mammoth go in offside after the turnover. 13 minutes, 35 seconds left. And this is the second period. Nothing left after this, though. 22.5-minute periods in this tournament. Both periods worth a point. We need to try to find a way to score more than the Mammoth here, so we get the extra point out of this period. So far, no goals in the period. Managed to secure the extra point for the first period in a 2-1 period. Puck goes back to the Mammoth. Cross ice for the opposite defenseman. Reese Vincent into pressure. Puck gets dumped in. Neal. Back behind the net for Lockery. Lockery. Back to Neal. Neal looking up the wall for Werner. Puts it high off the wall, though. Werner can't handle it on the wall. Shot in for Delaney. No rebound. Managed to freeze it. In some situations, we're having trouble getting clean passes up the wall to the wingers. Not usually from Brady Neal. He's been pretty steady so far this year. So, that one just kind of rolled off his toe, got a little high on him. And obviously, a little tough to handle coming off the high part of the wall. Draws here. We're going to have the Mammoth player tossed out. Referees not having any of it today when it comes to face-offs. Pucks dropped before the player was actually through the circle. Kind of interesting on that one. If you're going to throw someone out, you could probably let them finish the rotation before you start dropping the puck. Could have been a good advantage for the Mammoth, but draw gets stummed in the corner. Nothing happens out of it. Gets rummed around for Parker. Parker now behind the net. Parker looking up the wall. Can't see a lane to get that Christian. He's still in his spot on the wall. Hayes, good job with his stick behind the net. Manages to out-muscle two guys. Gets the puck up the wall to Tabor. Tabor tries to go past his defenseman. Can't quite beat him. Puck is now on the wall. 2-on-2 battle. Christian tries to come out with it. Does. Manages to get it out of the zone. Tabor to Christian. Gets turned over. Going back the other way. In onside. Puck is dumped in the corner. Max Clark out front. Trying to tie up his man. Wrap-around attempt. No goal. Sam Delaney there to take that one away. Puck comes up to Parker. Parker loses it. I think he was trying to pass that. Saw the lane go away, but the puck came off the stick anyway. But Jasper Nelson picks it off. It's now 1-on-2. Nelson enters the zone far on the right wing side. Gets behind the net. Just puts that towards the net. Margaret Meager take it down hard into the corner. That's going to be a power play for the Express. Not a lot of intentional intent there for that penalty, but gets the stick, a little bit of a can opener. Going to be a trip. Margaret goes hard into the board. Seems okay. Going to have a line change anyway. Tight game here. Getting the Lockery line on the ice. Lockery, Berner, Hannon, Friars, and Nelson for the start of this power play. 2 minutes, 12:03 left to play. Great time to score here. Puck comes back, won by Lockery. Hannon gets it, blindly tries to pass it to Nelson, doesn't realize the guy is high in the zone and takes that away. Luckily it wasn't picked off clean, or else that might have been a breakaway. Puck gets turned over on the half wall, dumped down the ice. Ashton trying to do the right thing, he hit that puck to his defenseman, doesn't realize it's a Mammoth driving out of the zone very quickly, ready for that pass. Friars now to Werner, Werner to Hannon. Hannon loses it just before the red line, gets dumped back in by the Mammoth. Puck's going to go behind the net. Nelson down to get it. Picks it up in the corner. Nelson around the board for Werner. Werner loses it before the blue line. D-to-D pass behind the net to Nelson. Nelson back to Friars. In his skates. Friars pulls the puck off the wall. Looking up the wall for Werner. Werner tries to get it back to Friars. He doesn't realize it's coming to him. Goes behind him. Werner, good job to recover there. Gets it over for Hannon. Hannon gains the zone. 3-on-3 with Friars. Friars tries to pass back to the D partner, but he's off for a line change. Now we've got a 3-on-2 established the other way. Making blind passes to the point on this power play hasn't worked out. Luckily, the Mammoth 2-2, and we pick it up. 1-on-0, 2-on-0 situation here. Christian shoots. Good save by the Mammoth goalie. And that 2-on-0, I probably would have looked to pass that across had Friars going to the far post. Would have been a great opportunity to score. Christian can't quite get the shot through. Great job by the Mammoth goalie to stop that one. Neal pins his guy down on the wall. Tabor in to help. And Friars. Puck on 3. Goes over for Christian. Christian picks it up in the corner. Christian looks far side for Parker. Can't get it to him. Turned back around by the Mammoth. Mammoth doing a good job. 2 seconds left on his penalty. We're now back to even strength. Mammoth has control of the puck. Tries to go on Delaney again with that sharp angle shot. Delaney must be giving something up on the post because they keep looking for it. Cycle back behind the net. We got a penalty coming to Express here. Didn't see what it was. We'll find out after the whistle. 6-on-5. 1-goal game. Shot to Delaney. Save. Rebound. Another save. Frozen. And that'll be the end of that. We're going to have a tripping call here. Looks to be on Christian. Christian's second penalty of the game, I believe. Now. Meager and Moffat out to fill this penalty. Carter Meager on the draw. Meager filling in for an injured Ty Moran this weekend. Might be here for the remainder of the season. We don't know the full status here yet. Puck comes out to the blue line. Moffat out to challenge. Puck gets back down to the half wall. Hayes in good position. Moffat takes away the pass to the blue line. Back down to the corner. Doesn't connect. Max Sparks there to get it. Puts it up the ice. Doesn't gain the blue line. Moffat's the pressure at the blue line. Gets passed back into the half wall. Puck down low. Back to the half wall. Hayes out to challenge. Goes to Moffat. Off of Hayes. Moffat's just going to fire that down the net. And we're going to get a change in our penalty killers here. Great job by Margaret Meager and Moffat to kill the first 30 seconds of that penalty. Flood now on the forecheck. Mammoth gain the zone, 2-on-3. Cuts to the middle. Shot. Goes off of Hayes. Delaney's down early, manages to slide across and stop that rebound attempt. Great save there by Delaney. Put himself a little bit out of position, but managed to recover, and that's what it's all about. Puck comes out to the blue line. Challenged by Hannon. Hannon falls at the blue line. Puck cross ice. One-timer. Big save by Delaney on that cross ice one-timer. That is not an easy save to make, especially at this age when that puck goes that wide across. Great job by Cam to shut that one down. Puck comes from the point all the way across to the low angle. Delaney slides across, manages to get there. Great job, Cam. Big time athletic save by Cam Delaney. Face off, and the Express end. Mammoth tossed out again. I think that's the 4th or 5th time they've been tossed out. Express hasn't been tossed yet. Looks like it was one of the guys on the wing that caused the problem here. Drop, puck, drums, out to the Mammoth. Mammoth go to the D. Gets put down on the half wall. One-on-one on Neal. Neal, pass down in the corner. Neal in the corner. Puck goes cycle back down the corner again. Great job by Brady Neal to cover that cycle. 2-on-1, manages to tie it up. Shot, doesn't get through. Picked up on the opposite side. On the opposite corner, try the other way. Go behind the net. Back down for Neal. Neal, good stick. Manages to keep the puck behind the net. Pass back and forth. They're looking for that post again. They're really looking to bank that in off of Delaney. Delaney's down and out. Puck manages to get blocked and out of the zone. Delaney in big time trouble there. Mammoth can't capitalize. As a good job by Express to clog up the passing lanes to keep the puck away from the front of the net, while Delaney manages to recover for himself. Looking like he's laid it a little bit. That puck off the side might have hurt him a little. Puck to the front of the net off Delaney's pad. Those are a dangerous spot. No rebound though, and the puck is picked up and down the ice. I think that was by Brady Neal. Mammoth looking to attack. Even strength now. 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in the period. 5-on-5 hockey. Puck comes up that right side wall again. Down to Friars. Friars tries to beat his guy. Turns the puck over down low in the corner. Mammoth gets to it first. Can't get by Friars. He tries to man up, knocks him down. Friars now going to take the middle of the ice. Looks up the wall for Tabor. Tabor gets the wall, puck off the wall. Goes across ice for Parker. Parker gains the red line. Just going to dump that one in. Playing a little safe here. So Christian's the first on the puck. Leaves it. Not sure what that was, but leaves the puck in the corner. Mammoth pick it up. Coming back up, Christian knocks his man down. Not sure why there's no call on that. Probably because he goes down himself. No attempt to play the puck there, but Christian's looking a little hurt. Goes to the bench. We got Meager on the ice. Goes off the first pick. Back for Friars. Friars going to go down and collect this puck. Turns back up the ball. Pass Moffat. Moffat tells him to go. Going to cover him on the blue line. Friars drives in wide. Manages to get past his guy. Looks for Meager in the center. Goes off of her stick and just out. Moffat's first one to it. Picks it up off the half wall. Going to drive underneath. Gets it to Meager. Meager shot. Hits a body. Can't get it through. Meager looking for a first shot on net. Goes back to Reese Vincent, who manages to put that on net. Puck comes back up. Can't beat Vincent at the blue line. Back down the wall. Moffat tips it to Meager. Meager back to Moffat. Moffat holds the puck on the half wall. Puts it back down in the corner for Meager. Meager now looking to the front of the net. Can't find a lane to Flood. Flood's going to go in and collect that behind the net. Puts that out to the front. Defenseman on the Mammoth put that up the right side again. Brady Neal there. Gets beat at the blue line. Puts it back to the middle off of Moffat. Moffat's going to keep that out of harm's way. Picked up by Vincent. Vincent now going to gain the blue line while the forward change. Tries to put the puck on net, hits the body. Puck goes back into the corner. 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in this second period. Picked up by Ashton Hannon. Hannon doesn't see anyone at the blue line and likes to hold onto the puck for himself. Takes the puck down in the corner. Good job keeping hold of that, killing some time off as we try to establish our offensive zone. Puck is thrown up in the middle of the ice. No defenseman there, but misses the Mammoth player looking for the stretch pass. We're going to turn that one up quick. Goes D to D from Vincent to Clark. Liam Werner tries to pass it. Goes off a body. We've got a 2-on-2 here. Great stick by Carter Hayes to get that in the passing lane. Prospect from the Mammoth not called on Max Clark. Doesn't go down. Probably shouldn't have been called there. Clark now working in the corner. Puck comes up the wall to Werner. Werner loses in his skate. Gets turned back around. Lockery loses at the blue line. Mammoth walks to the middle. Try to attack. On the ice. Hayes stick. Stops that. Manages to pick it up is Werner, who managed to get it out of the zone, but can't get through the neutral zone as it's picked off by the Mammoth. Re-attack on the other side. Great move. Beats one defender. Can't beat two. Clark's going to get it. Tries to put it off the glass. Stands on it. Back down to the corner. We've got Christian. Clark up the wall. Goes to Werner. Werner's going to elect for the icing, and we're just going to get a line change. Long shift there by that line. Gets stuck in our zone. 4 minutes and 19 seconds remaining in this second period. Again, only 2 halves for these games. 0-0 so far in this period. No extra points up for grabs yet. Somebody's hoping to grab one here in the next 4 minutes and 19 seconds. off. Christian tossed out. Must have been the winger. Noah not allowed to come in. Tabor on the draw. Tabor. Scrum won by the Mammoth. Mammoth go D to D. Looking for the shot. Shot in. Saved by Delaney. Picked up by Tabor on the wall. Tries to get that Christian. Misses his stick, but comes out of their zone. Mammoth now trying to attack on the opposite side. Can't get by Tabor. Tabor holds him up. Keeps the puck out of the zone. We're in a foot race now. Christian coming in. Goalie comes out to play it. Puts it up the ice. Picked up by Parker, who goes down the wall for Christian. Christian puts it into the corner for Tabor. Gets rimmed down to the other side of the ice. First time I've seen the Mammoth break out the left side in a while. Puts that up. Tries to go to the weak side. Gets picked off. Friars now in. Gains the blue line. Puts it in the corner. Puck comes off the wall. Goes to the goalie, who's going to hold that below the goal line. Comes back up the wall to the left side. And we have another breakout. Looks to the weak side. Can't get by Friars. No support behind them. Everybody missing their check on the back check here. Could have been dangerous if he was able to find his man. Mammoth player loses his stick. Parker now in a battle in the corner. Friars goes over to get it. Mammoth player retrieves his stick. Gets back in the action. Puck goes in front. Great diving play to keep that away from danger, but it does go out with the Mammoth player, and they're just going to fire that one by Delaney. Unfortunate bounce as I think it was Friars comes diving across the front of the mouth of the crease to take away a chance, but the puck goes on to a different player who managed to beat Delaney. So now we are in a 2-2 hockey game, and the Mammoths have the advantage for the extra point with 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go here. Puck blocked by Margaret Meager. Comes back to the center. Goes D to D. Tries to put the puck up the wall. Going to say no icing on that one. The tip. Reese Vincent back to retrieve it. Cycles puck behind the net. Neal pressures. Puck out front. Delaney's down early. Puck again. Over top. Loose puck in front as Delaney's down. Picks it up and it is over top of him. Not a whole lot of support there to try to clear that rebound. But the puck is just a scrambled play. Delaney's down, goes over him, and that'll make it a 3-2 game for the Mammoth. Mammoth turning it up here. Now, Express at risk of only gaining the extra point from the first period. We're going to need to find a way to tie this one up in the next 2 minutes and 49 seconds and possibly take control and get another goal to take the lead. Puck blocked by Lockery. Back to the D. Just going to flip that up into the neutral zone. Lockery picks it up. Gains the red line. One player falls down. Lockery gains into the zone. Tied up, but can't stop him. Goes behind the net. Lockery looking to make something happen here. Back to the corner. Lockery cycles it back down low. 2 Express players are tied up. That's, looks like Werner, possibly, and Lockery. Yep, Clark and Hayes. Good shot blocked by Clark, or by Hayes. Goes to Clark. Clark puts it up. Pass up to Hannon. Hannon's going to gain his own. Hannon driving in low. Puts it up the wall for Lockery. Lockery back to the middle. Flips that to the front of the net. Rebound. Can't get to it is Liam Werner. Sitting right there. Werner scored a couple of those in Edmonton when the puck was in front of the net like that. Couldn't quite find it today. Puck comes back out for Lockery. Werner gets it to his stick. Lockery turns, tries to shoot. Can't quite get a hold of it. Hannon puts it back to the front. It's going to go by everybody and down the ice. This is not going to be icing. We put it out here for ourselves. Stark picks it up quick. Moves it up to Lockery. Loses it in the skate. Stark again. Looks across ice. Goes to the wall for Parker. Parker goes back for Nelson. Nelson's going to just put that up the ice. Loses it. Dropped in by the Yeti. Puts that on net. Again, no such thing as a bad shot on goal, especially when you have the lead. Nelson behind the net. Over for Clark. Clark goes off the wall. Tries to get it up for Parker. Can't do it. Lets it go back behind the net for Nelson. Nelson now to Tabor. Tabor to Christian. Christian up the ice. Gains the red line. Can't get across. Nelson. Friars. Tabor. Friars. Nelson. Too late for Parker. Gets to Parker anyway. Puts it into the zone. Caden Christian now has a man going to the net. Tries to shoot. Comes off the stick. Pass out front for Parker. Can't put it on net. Nelson can't put it on net. Puck's loose. Scramble play in front of the net. Shot wide. Nelson now. Puck comes back out to Hannon at the blue line. Nelson puts it into the corner. Express gets empty. 6-on-5 here. Trying to tie this up. 33 seconds remain. Puck's in the corner. Comes back up the wall for Hannon. Hannon's just going to put that outside of the blue line. Cross ice for Friars. Just going to have to tag up here. And don't. They do not get onside. That's going to kill the clock here. Still offside. 16 seconds. Still offside. 14 seconds. Puck comes out. Jumps down the ice. Going to call no icing. Again, they've been calling it that way all game, not just because the period's almost over. 5 seconds left. Need something big to happen here. 2 seconds. That'll be the end of it. Mammoth managed to come back with a 2-0 deficit in the second period to take the game 3-2. Press out to stop their goalie. Line up for the face-off. They line up for the handshake line, rather. Unfortunate finish to a game that Express had pretty good control over for a while. Couldn't find the back of the net in the second period at all. Not sure if it has something to do with the format change, the long periods, all kinds of excuses. Answer is they couldn't get it done, and now they go down. They managed to steal a point in the first period out of the win for the Mammoth. Hopefully that'll come in our favor towards the end of the period when all the points are tallied up. Never hurts to get points in these short tournaments. All make a big difference. As I said before, in this situation where there's these bonus points, they can disrupt the standings quite dramatically. And of course, a tight game, 3-2, means not a big goal differential here as it comes down to a tiebreaker between a couple of teams here. Only a -1 for the Express, +1 for the Mammoth. A lot of things can change. I think there's 4 teams, so everyone makes the semis. So no worries about that, just proceeding at this point. Carter Hayes, big game from Carter today, and I said his name right all game. Very happy and proud of myself for that. His player of the game honors, and we'll go ahead and tap gloves with his teammates. Goalie for the Mammoth gets player of the game honors. Lots of shots by the Express, especially early on. Couple of breakaway chances, didn't find the back of the net. Good job by both teams. Mammoth managed to hold on in the second half, take the win, and Express will look to recover this afternoon. This afternoon, I believe, we play Foundation hockey. Foundation and a big loss to champion Red Hounds earlier today. We'll look to bounce back against Express. I have a feeling that game is at 6:30. Go ahead and double check here for you fine folks. 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock against Foundation hockey right here at the Willie O'Ree. Second game action for the Express. Make sure you tune in, see if our boys can bounce back after a really tough loss and a really